A 16-year-old kid drops out of school, starts a magazine, pivots to a mail order record business, opens a recording studio, signs the Sex Pistols and the Rolling Stones, launches an airline against British Airways, nearly dies in a hot air balloon over the Atlantic, sues one of the largest companies in Britain, and wins. And he does all of this with no formal business training, no MBA, and a philosophy that can be summarized in 5 words: screw it, let's do it. Richard Branson built $8 billion companies from scratch across 8 different industries. He didn't follow the rules, he didn't study the rules, he just kept asking one question: is it fun? And that question made him a billionaire while your strategic planning committee was still scheduling the next meeting. Hello, my name is Todd Hagopian, the original stagnation assassin, the author of this book, Unfair Advantage: Weaponizing the Hypomanic Toolbox. But today we are doing a stagnation assassin book review of Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson. So get ready for a hard hitting, bold, relentless review of one of the most entertaining entrepreneurial autobiographies ever written. And we'll determine whether Branson's wild ride offers real weapons or just really good stories. This is Branson's autobiography covering the first 43 years of his life, from school dropout to billionaire empire builder. It's 600 pages of balloon crashes, record label wars, airline battles, and near death experiences, all filtered through the lens of a man who treats businesses like the greatest adventures on earth. The question for us is simple: beneath the bravado and the billionaire lifestyle, is there a repeatable framework here? Or is this the ultimate survivorship bias wrapped in a cool British accent? So let's get to the meat. What this book gets right. First, Branson's instinct for entering complacent markets is pure stagnation assassination. Every major Virgin venture targeted an industry where customers were being ripped off and underserved or ignored. Airlines, overpriced and arrogant. Record stores, no alternative to retail markups. Financial services, confusing and customer hostile. Branson didn't disrupt industries with technology, he disrupted them with empathy. He asked what customers actually wanted and found that nobody was providing it. Then he had the audacity to try to do so. That's not luck, that's a pattern recognition machine. The emphasis on people over process is deeply valuable. Branson repeatedly credits his success to personal genius, or not to personal genius, but to finding brilliant people, giving them the autonomy, and getting out of the way. He built a global empire with no central headquarters, no management hierarchy, and minimal bureaucracy. He trusted his people to run their businesses like small entrepreneurs within a larger ecosystem. When I look at organizations drowning in layers of approval and committee consensus, Branson's model is a machete through the bureaucratic jungle. The brand as person philosophy was ahead of its time. Branson made himself the brand. He used his own personality, his adventures, his public stunts as marketing. Not because he was vain, but because he earned attention is cheaper and more powerful than paid advertising. He understood that people connect with people, not with corporate logos. For leaders, building a personal brand alongside a business, and that includes every serious operator in 2026. Branson wrote the playbook 40 years early. And the bias towards action is actually contagious. Branson's decision making framework is frighteningly simple. Is there a good business plan? Limited downside, good people, good product, go. He doesn't add analysis paralyze. He doesn't wait for things to be perfect. He has a 4 point decision filter: good plan, limited downside, good people, good product. This would eliminate 90% of the pointless deliberation in your company oversight. But that would require courage, and courage is stagnation's kryptonite. Let's look at the murder board, though. What does this book get wrong? And Branson's getting a murder board because even billionaires need accountability. First, this book is entertainment, not education. It reads like the greatest adventure story ever told, but it's almost devoid of frameworks and systems or repeatable methodology. You'll finish it inspired, you'll be fired up, and then you'll realize that you have no idea how to actually apply what you just read. Losing My Virginity is a Red Bull for the entrepreneurial soul. You'll feel like you can conquer the world for about 90 minutes and then you'll crash and realize that Branson didn't actually teach you anything that you can implement on Monday morning. So, second, survivorship bias is screaming through every page. Branson's follow your gut and screw it, let's do it approach works brilliantly when you're Richard Branson. It works less brilliantly when you're a mid level leader with a mortgage, a family, a board of directors who want to see projections. For every Virgin Atlantic, there were ventures that hemorrhaged money. The book mentions some of the failures briefly, but moves on real quick, creating a distorted picture of risk taking that could be genuinely dangerous if you take it at face value. Third, the lack of operational detail is maddening for operators like me. How did Virgin Atlantic actually achieve its service advantage? I don't know. What were the specific operational decisions? I don't know. The systems, the metrics. Branson tells you he wanted a better airline. He tells you that he found great people. He tells you that it worked out, but the operational middle, the how, is a black box. That's fine for an autobiography, so okay, but it's insufficient for a business book. The stagnation verdict here is 3 keels out of 5. Entertaining, wildly inspiring, absolutely. Actionable, barely. Losing My Virginity is a masterclass in courage, brand building, and market disruption through customer empathy. But it's a story, not a system. If you need motivation to stop overthinking and start acting, Branson will light that fire. But if you need the operational framework to back up that action, you'll need to look elsewhere. Read it for the mindset. Just don't make the mistake that the adventure is a map, because it's not. That's the Stagnation Assassin verdict on Losing My Virginity. 3 keels out of 5. One hell of a ride. But you'll need sharper tools when that adrenaline wears off. For frameworks built by operators who've done the messy work of transformation, not from a private island or a big jet that you happen to own, but from the trenches of Fortune 500 turnarounds. Grab the Unfair Advantage, Weaponizing the Hypomanic Toolbox on Amazon. Subscribe to the Stagnation Assassin Show and visit toddhagopian.com and stagnationassassins.com for the world's largest database on corporate stagnation. Screw it, let's do it. But first, let's build the system that makes sure it actually gets done. Adventure without execution is just expensive corporate tourism.